Kobie Jones has unlocked Daquan White's potential.
You are Locked On Georgia Tech, your daily podcast on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Georgia Tech. I'm your host, Jarvis Davis, and I want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Kalshi. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code Locked On to get $10 when you trade $10. It's just that simple. Coming up on today's show, Kirk Cignetti actually wanted to keep Alberto around. We'll also discuss, DeAndre Hopkins coming in and instantly making an impact on this wide receiver group. But first, Kobie Jones has found himself in a good position as a coach with the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, because when I look at a guy like Daquan White, who's going into his senior year, he's a young man that is going to have an impact this year, more so than he did last year, because he's looking like he's going to be one of the starters at the cornerback position. And I believe that's a direct, result of Kobie Jones starting to build himself up as a developer. What I mean when I say that is, if he continues on this trend, Kobie Jones is going to start having guys come to this school because of him. He's going to start having guys saying, you know what? He sent XY player into the league already. And when he was an assistant at Alabama, he's already started to do that. Terrion Arnold and Kool-Aid McKinstry. Yeah, he had a hand in that. So with Kobie, where he is right now, and having a guy like Daquan White, he saw some action last year. He played in 11 games at corner, finished the season with 16 tackles, 12 solo, 4 assisted. He was a contributor. Now he's being elevated to being a starter, a guy who's going to get a lot of reps this year in his last season. It tells you a lot about how Kobie is developing his guys. And I'm not just the only one saying these things. How about this? Jones is a member of the 24/7 2026 30 under 30 list of college football's top young coaches. So the secret's out. People understand where he is and who he is as a coach. And when I think about Daquan White, and I got a chance to ask him this, because I'm fascinated by when it finally clicks for a player, when you really find yourself in a position where you truly understand what's going on the field. You truly understand what it takes to be able to get to that position off the field so you can be all-knowing and understanding everything once you get onto the field. And when I asked him about it actually clicking for him, he said something that I wasn't surprised by. He said it in the spring. It happened in the spring. They installed a new defense, and you have a fresh messaging, because been through a lot of defense coordinators over the past few years. So having someone like Seymour come in and say, hey, here's what I want to do. Here's my vision for how I want my cornerbacks to play. And Kobie Jones has been executing that to the T. Because most things don't change for Kobie. He even said as much. I mean, cover 4 is cover 4, cover 2 is cover 2, man's man, all that stuff. All that pretty much the same. It's just all about verbiage. Oh, what do you call this, coach? All right, cool. I got you. I'll go ahead and teach it that way. Oh, how did they refer to it last year? I kind of like that. Okay, let's bring that over too. But Daquan White has found himself in a position where he's going to be one of the guys. He's going to be a guy to be a big contributor this year. And I think it's a big part of that is because of Kobie Jones. Because Daquan White, there was a lot of buzz, pun intended, coming out of spring about what Daquan was doing on a daily basis. He consistently showed that, hey, I want to be one of those guys. There's some openings out there. There's some opportunities that I need to take advantage of. And I think it's just awesome. I just love to see guys understanding their potential. And I think that when you have a guy like Kobie Jones who sees that, he doesn't look at, oh, he transferred in from Eastern Michigan. Oh, he played a little bit last year. Okay. Let me go find this other guy to see what we can do with him. Or let me go get this 4-star, 5-star guy to come in and replace him. No, he didn't do that. You start working with that young man and helping that young man to understand, like, hey, here's where you can be. Are you willing to put in the work to get there? That's it. That's what the good coaches do. That's what they do. I love seeing that development piece, man, because it is so important in today's game. And you have to do it. You have to put it in the microwave too. It has to be instant. You have to be able to convey the message instantly. Because guys ain't got time. They can get up out of here like, oh, coach don't realize what I got going on. And he hasn't given me a plan to how I can get on the field. Out of here. That's how it works. So there's no waiting around to see, okay, we're going to redshirt him. He's going to come to the workouts and do all that stuff. No, man. Those days are over with, Jack. So I'm glad that Kobie saw something in Daquan, because no player left behind is a motto that I like to have when it comes to coaching. You find something in each player and you bring that out of him. You develop that. He might not be an all-world player and go on to play in the NFL, but you are maximizing that young man's potential. And I'm so glad that Kobie Jones has done that. He has done that for Daquan White. So good for him. Absolutely. I love that. And, find out a little nugget that Kobie Jones went to Alabama State. The other ASU. I'll tell y'all about that a little bit later on. But we ain't going to get into all that. All right. Coming up next. DeAndre Hopkins is on a track to where he's probably upgraded this wide receiver room already. And we'll discuss that next right here on Locked On Georgia Tech. Before the season even kicks off, everyone is making predictions. Who wins the division? Who makes the playoffs? Who's lifting the trophy at season's end? On Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you can trade those predictions in a live market. Can Georgia Tech beat Colorado? I think so. Right now, Tech is currently trading at 71% yes. Meaning a $100 trade would pay out $138. On Calcium, you're trading against peers in the live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. You can trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Calcium. Download the Calcium app and use code LOCKEDON to get $10 when you trade $10. You can trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and the eligibility requirements to apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Calcium products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see calcium.com/regulatory. I want to offer you an opportunity to become part of the Cool Kids. You know that club you're part of in high school? This time, all you have to do is, you don't have to, cozy up to anyone or anything like that. All you got to do is hit a simple button. Hit that like and subscribe button. And also hit that bell so you can get Locked On Georgia Tech each and every day, because you know it is your team every single day. All right. There are a lot of assumptions to be made when you bring a guy like DeAndre Hopkins into the fold. The hire was made for show, or he's just taking this job because he couldn't find a team to work for, blah, 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 all that stuff. A lot of naysayers come out of the woodwork when teams hire a guy like this. But in this particular case, that is not true. And the reason why I say it's not true right now, as of today, is simply because the players can feel him already. They're feeling his presence already. Because Jordan Allen and all those guys, and Debron, Gatlin, they got a chance to speak to the media the other day, and glowing reviews. Glowing reviews. To the point where, I think it was Jordan Allen who said this. He was like, man, sometimes, I might feel like I'm bothering him. But he's like, nah, come on, man. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you. Same thing we talk about with Kobie Jones. He's finding those things. Hey, how can I get something out of this player? How can I maximize this young man's potential? And these guys are gravitating to D-Hop already. And, hey, man, they're asking those questions because they know he's experienced it at the highest level. Because there's some coverages that he's seen that these young men haven't seen yet. Debron Gatlin even said it himself. He was right there ready to answer those questions. So D-Hop is already making these guys better. He hadn't even been here for a full season. Because when you hear that name, there's cachet that comes with it. There's immediate credibility that comes with it. And those guys are going to try to go out there and prove to him that, hey, we were listening, coach. Because that's just how things work. When you have somebody who played at the highest level, every young man that comes into a Power 4 school has some aspirations, some bigger than others, obviously, of going to the next level. And when you can see, touch, feel, ask questions, all that stuff, right? And then the guy that played your position, he's right there and borderline Hall of Fame guy? Come on. I equate that to a guy like Reggie White, God rest his soul, coming in to coach at my school when I was playing. I was like, who? What? The Minister of Defense? What? The guy who I was oohing and ahhing when he was playing in the Super Bowl against the Patriots? God bless that tackle. Oh my gosh. That move was so ridiculous. Ooh, goodness gracious. I would have been Reggie White could have told me, hey, Jarvis, go run through that brick wall, and then I don't want to see your face until you pull the bricks that you ran through and bring it back to me. And I want to make sure that his blood on it. Make sure that his blood on that brick too, and bring it back to you, boy. I'm like, all right, Coach White. I mean, that's just how it is. It's just how it is. When you look up to a guy, see a guy, understand that, hey, man, this guy was on my TV balling out of control every Sunday, and now he's right here in my wide receiver room, and I got access to him on a daily basis. Woo! Woo! You talking about an immediate impact. I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm walking around practice. All I see is D-Hop talking to guys. You're just talking to him. And I know he's giving them that immediate feedback, saying, hey, think about this when you run this route. Do this when you're running this route. If you see this coverage, start the doggone wind that bad boy down a little bit. Show the quarterback your numbers if they're playing zone. Just little tips and tricks like that. In real time. That's the stuff that sticks with you as a player, for sure. Hands down. And D-Hop not sitting around just standing around there looking. Man, he's getting in. When they're working on their releases, he's right there. Working with those guys. Get a full sweating. So if anyone out there is thinking or kind of it was deep down in their soul, they're like, man, you know what? Is this really going to be a good hire? Or is this really going to have an impact on this wide receiver group? The answer to that question is yes. Stop being negative. Or stop hating. Because, I know there maybe be a certain fan base that probably thinks that, I ain't going to say their names. They know who they are. Y'all just been busy lately, too. It's all good. It's all love, baby. Because September 3rd is coming. It's coming, for sure. But DeAndre Hopkins got this wide receiver group in a good space. And I think that when you look at the other aspect of this, and Jafar Williams, okay, all right, he's coming in. What does that mean for me? And I think Jafar put it as probably best as he possibly could. He said, from the first day we got on the phone and we talked, I think the biggest thing between both of us is making sure we're relaying the same message. And he has so many tricks and tools that are going to benefit our room. Full stop right there. Immediately set the tone as far as what his expectations are, what D-Hop wants to do. Like, hey, man, I know what you bring to the table. I understand your accomplishments. There's a mutual respect right there. So once they got on that horn, they hashed out, hey, here's how I would like things to go. And D-Hop probably said, hey, here's what I'm bringing to the table. And let's get these players better. How can both of us benefit this wide receiver group? How can we take this room from having a lot of questions in the preseason, in the spring, and some of them came from me, and take them to one of the more respected groups, one of the top groups on this team? How can we do that? And that's what we're going to work on. And I love that, man. Two grown men having a conversation, hashing it out, and let's get it. That's what you have to do in order to get to those goals that you set for yourself and this wide receiver group. All right, coming up next, we'll wrap things up talking about Alberto Mendoza actually found his fit versus whether or not Kirk Cignetti wanted him to keep him and all that stuff. We'll discuss that next right here on Locked On Georgia Tech. Don't forget that you can take Locked On Georgia Tech on the road with you wherever you download your podcast and wherever you download your podcast. Make sure that you leave us a 5-star review. It is because of you that we are now the #1 sports podcast network. And you know, when you leave a review, that spreads the good news. That spreads the word. And we get to go the old school route too. Word of mouth. It helps me. It helps you because it makes you look smart. Because it's like, hey man, you want to know about Locked On Georgia? You want to know about Georgia Tech? Go to Locked On Georgia Tech. They got you covered over there. All right. Did Kirk Cignetti want Mendoza out of there? Did he want Alberto out of there? Was he done with all the Mendoza drama or fanfare? Was he trying to get rid of Alberto? I'm going to read this quote. He said, "We didn't lose anybody we didn't want to lose. Well, Alberto, we tried to retain him." Now, what does that mean? I'm going to tell you exactly what that means. It didn't matter about whether or not Kirk Cignetti wanted to keep Alberto or not. Because he's not in the quarterback development phase right now. He's in the ready-made quarterback, already got numbers, already has had success playing full seasons as a starter. That's the market he's in. He and Mario Cristobal are in the same market to help bring it home. And Alberto did not fit that model. And based off what I've seen, I feel like Alberto going to be a solid quarterback. So could he have kept him? Yeah. But I think this was a matter of Alberto saying to himself, okay, what's the best scenario for me? What's the best situation for me? How can I benefit myself? How can I choose my scenario, choose my situation, and not be beholden to a head coach and what he thinks about me? And that is no way any shade towards Kirk Cignetti. I believe today's player, and I'm a little jealous of it, but in a good way. I admire it, actually. These guys got juice now. These head coaches don't have that, hey, you know you're going to have to sit out a year if you transfer. Those days are over with, baby. So it's not a matter of, hey, coach, man, am I going to play this year? Hey, coach, are you trying to replace me? Or, hey, coach, am I going to have a real opportunity to be able to start this year? All those days gone, man. They're gone. That's why guys like Kobie Jones are important. Players got to feel that they have an opportunity. You have to show that they have an opportunity. And this is just my opinion. Just kind of looking at it from the outside perspective. Alberto probably didn't feel that he had a real opportunity to start. I'm sure he wouldn't have minded competing for a starting position. But Kirk is sitting there having a conversation with Josh Hoover and saying, hey, man, I want you to be my guy. We trying to win natties around here. It ain't no competition. So when people are going back and forth and trying to understand and say, oh, if Kirk Cignetti really wanted him, he could have kept him, or he didn't want him because he was not a good quarterback and all that stuff. To be honest with you, that stuff doesn't matter. Because Berto had the juice. He had the choice he could make. He could stick around and find out, or he can go into a situation where I have a really good opportunity to be the starter and I can establish myself somewhere else. And that's what happened. All the extra stuff, man, that don't matter, man. Especially it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you have fans of other teams commenting on it. Well, if he was any good, they wouldn't let him leave. And everybody leaving now nowadays. You know how much roster turnover is in today's game? These coaches are turning over rosters every single year. Every year. The why, as far as transferring in and out of schools, it really doesn't matter nowadays, for sure. Because it's money to be made, and it's on the coaches now to show these guys what the plan is for them going forward. And if they don't see it, feel it, and you don't show it, they're out of there. No love lost. I appreciate you for what you did for my brother, but I got to go. And that's what happened. Berto found his fit. He found what he was looking for. He was looking for a situation to where he can flourish. And that's what guys got to do, especially at the quarterback position. Where can I spend the next couple of years as a starter to get where I want to be? If he wants to get to the NFL, he had to leave. He had to get up out of there. And Cignetti saying that, hey, we tried to retain him. At what cost? Him being the backup quarterback to Josh Hoover again? Or being the backup again? No. That's not what he was looking for. So, both parties got what they wanted. And we should move on. Because guess what? There's a game coming up, and we don't need to be talking about off-season moves anymore. But I had to just go ahead and get that out there. So, all right. That'll do it for Locked On Georgia Tech. If you haven't done so, you can give me a follow on all social platforms at Locked On Georgia Tech. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us wherever you download your podcast. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen, Locked On College Basketball with Isaac Shade and my main man, Andy Patty. It's all part of Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day.